compromise, right? Like when it comes to muscle, cognitive function, and hair. If you want to be optimal in all
Mhm.
three, that is drastically hard because everything contradicts everything, right? So muscle growth and hair, and then also cognitive function counteracts. Like if you take finasteride, I've know a lot of people that take finasteride for hair, for holding on to hair. So it like hinders
Yeah, I did.
getting. Yeah. Okay. So it hinders the
I
conversion of
don't do it
DHT in
now,
the
but I
scalp.
did. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So it hinders the conversion of DHT in the scalp. Well, that's great, and it does work, and you will keep hair density, and you will stop the progression of more hair loss. And if you throw in, kind of like my stack that I have with the microneedling and the minoxidil and then the castor oil and the ketoconazole shampoo, you will have like a full
Uh-huh.
head of hair, even if you're losing or you're prone to hair loss. But that's going to kill your sex drive. It's going to kill your testosterone. Your muscle is going to be virtual. You're going to be depleted, and you're going to have extreme brain fog. So it's like, okay, I don't want to take finasteride because I don't want to have brain fog because I need to be cognitively alert because I have a business or I'm a scientist or whatever, and I also want to, be physical and look good and also have energy. So where's the line? And I've noticed teeter-totting on the triangle of hair loss, muscle, and cognitive function is very difficult because everything is counterintuitive. So it's where can we push the limits to the very brim to where it doesn't affect the other two. And then you could also throw in longevity.
Yeah. So keeping testosterone within the physiological range, I think, is important. And I've personally witnessed guys when they boost it above that, they have rapid hair loss from
Yeah.
DHT. I guess you can counteract that with finasteride. But I think when I started following a ketogenic diet and low carb, and my inflammation went down, it always ran a little bit high. My CRP, my inflammation is really low, and yeah, I used finasteride for a while. I did feel like a little bit of side effects, I thought, so I stopped, and I felt like a little bit better, I think. So I don't haven't been using that for at least a year or so. But I have a red light, so Juve. I use the Juve Elite system, which is red light therapy, and I know red light therapy can help boost. So I'm trying to think of what I do for. I don't really. I mean, take my wife takes like collagen and biotin and different things for hair. So sometimes I take some of her supplement for that. But I don't think it really does anything. But I think the red light. I feel red light might offer something. And I know there's PRP and microneedles, and then there's just literally moving the hair follicles from like the back of your neck
Hmm.
here in different areas because they're not DHT sensitive. So if you have like male pattern alopecia on the top of your head, which I do here, you can kind of see it.
I
I
mean, your
got
hair
some
looks
thinning,
pretty
but I
good for your age.
yeah, you know what? It has stabilized in my 20s and stuff. I was thinning, and then once I've been following the ketogenic diet, I'm losing it. But I think I've actually gotten a little bit of hair growth. I have minoxidil, and I use it on and off because it's just like messy to put in your hair, and sometimes it makes little white flakes and things like that. But I've been
Hmm.
thinking about doing a hair stack again because I think hair once you start losing your hair, and a lot of guys just shave their head, and I think that looks great. But
Hmm.
if I realized that changing my diet has allowed me to keep my hair, and I think going low carb, I just definitely see less hair loss once I've been doing low
Wow.
carb, and my inflammation got more than cut in half. It went down 80%, and I feel that I think systemic inflammation is a major contributor to hair loss. If I go back, and also super high protein, inflammation, sugar spikes, insulin. That's when I was like shedding hair in the sink. I would see it. But if I
Mm.
once I started going low
Wow.
carb, keto, intermittent fasting, my insulin levels went like almost sub physiological, and then my HSCRP is non-detectable. I have like no hair loss in that physiological state.
Wow. I'm really curious. I want to get you on my hair loss stack because if you do all four within 6 months, you're gonna look like Wolverine.
What are the four things? But is that
It's
finasteride is included in that?
no, no, I don't. Finasteride. So if your goal is only hair, which obviously both of our goals are not only hair, but if your goals are only hair, you definitely want to take finasteride because it definitely works. There has to be some component of the hair where you're hindering the progression. Minoxidil as you know, just stimulates new follicles in what they identify as minoxidil hairs. Um, Ironically, I do it with my beard too. And minoxidil beard hairs, after the stop of minoxidil, you actually keep the minoxidil beard hairs, but you don't keep them on the scalp. So you have to do minoxidil forever on the scalp, but in the beard, you keep them forever. It's very strange. I don't know the
Interesting.
science behind that, but it's very strange. But if your goal is hair, finasteride definitely works. There has to be some mechanism where you stop the progression, not just stimulate new, you're stopping, progression. And then you might not notice, but years down the line, density will thin out. And then you're like, wow, I'm losing my hair because
Mhm.
the density is getting decreased. You're thinning and thinning and thinning. Finasteride will definitely help with that. And even if you get off of finasteride, you will keep that. But you have to deal with the brain fog. You have to deal with your hormones or go right in the gutter. So I'm not willing to do that. But the if you don't want to use finasteride, the stack for sure is. Can you hear me good? Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, I can.
Okay, okay. If you don't want to use finasteride, then my stack is the biggest thing is minoxidil and microneedling. I do microneedling 1.5 every Monday. So today's Monday, so I call it micro needling Monday. I do a 1.5 because that's going to get to the deepest part to where you're going to hinder scarring, and then I don't do any topicals that day because you don't want to put that much minoxidil in your bloodstream. You want to heal, so you do a full 24 hours after that. So I do 1.5 microneedling with a pen, not the the derma or not the yeah I guess it's a derma roller. That one doesn't work as well because when the needle goes around, you're actually tearing little slits of the skin. You want a pen that punches holes directly, so pop, pop, pop. So definitely get like a derma pen, like the Derminator or a Doctor pen. You can get them on Amazon. They're like $100. And then I do that once a week at 1.5 length. No topicals for a full 24 hours. And then the rest of the week, I use ketoconazole shampoo, and I use very high quality shampoo.
Yeah,
You can get
I used to use that.
$14.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can get a $14 ketoconazole shampoo on Amazon, but I use like all the probably does the same thing, but my shampoo is like $50. I think it's DS Laboratories, very high quality. But is it necessary? Who knows? So I do the ketoconazole shampoo because that's going to hinder the converting DHT in the scalp. So we're stopping that. So we're kind of using like a not so much effective of finasteride, but effective enough with no side effects. So you're stopping some growth, some progression of loss with the ketoconazole, and then the biggest thing is the minoxidil and the microneedling. And then after 4 hours of drying, which I'm still not fully convinced that you need to wait 4 hours. I think the minoxidil dries within an hour. Then I apply castor oil, and that's kind of like the icing on the cake. And I don't think castor oil necessarily stimulates more growth. I think it makes the current hairs that you have more quality. So it makes it thicker and darker. I've noticed my beard. I used to dye my beard black. Now it's jet black, and I don't dye it anymore. My beard used to be brown. So the minoxidil and the castor oil has actually made my hair darker. And what happens when it's darker? You're taking up more space, which makes it more full. And I'm only about 2.5 months in. Within the 6 month mark, you'll see me. I'll look like Wolverine. So
So the microneedle then allows the minoxidil to penetrate farther down into the hair follicle. Is that the idea? Or
yeah. So also your body produces collagen. You're stimulating, well, there's a couple mechanisms, right? So it's collagen, blood flow, and now you're opening up to a point where now you can get more minoxidil into the bloodstream. So it's gonna hinder more stimulation from
yeah,
the minoxidil, right? But some people do like zero point 0.5 and then they do topicals afterwards so they can get more absorption of minoxidil. But if you look at like a hair scale, like you probably know this, if you look on the skin, you have to get down to 1.5 to really target where your body's going to start producing collagen. And then that's actually too
mhm,
far in to put in minoxidil. And then if you do put a topical on, you're going to like pass out because you're going to have, you're going to have more absorption of the chemical and you don't want that. So you want to wait a full 24 hours of zero topicals. And it's good because one, you don't have to apply the annoying greasy minoxidil on your head and your face. Like I put it in my beard every day. You don't have to do it. So you get a full 24 hours of zero
mhm.
topicals, which is nice. So that's what I'll do tonight.
So you do how
But
many
the
times a
biggest
week?
moving,
Do you do that?
With the microneedling.
Yeah,
Yeah, once a week, only on Mondays. Yeah, you want
once
to
a
give
week.
your you want to give your
Like
skin time to
Fridays.
heal.
Yeah,
I want to see like the
yeah.
before and after with like 3 months of doing microneedling on the head, and you don't have a beard, so you don't care about that. But the head microneedling with minoxidil and then added castor oil,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, it works drastically. I saw a guy, he had like little peach fuzz, and within a year he looked like Jafar. It was crazy.
Yeah,
It
my
was so
beard grows
drastic.
really thick. Like if I let it grow out. Yeah, for
Oh
sure.
yeah, then you're good. You're blessed in that area. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's definitely something to consider. So I've been obsessed with hair lately. So I've been on this hair kick, and but yeah, balancing hair with muscle mass and then cognitive function is extremely difficult because they all contradict each other.
Yeah, I think hair retention and maybe even the graying of hair is kind of a good indicator of activation of pathways that are speeding, aging process. And I
Yeah.
have a number of people. I get like hundreds of emails a day, and people have shared with me that fasting decreases the graying of hair. That ketogenic diets have decreased the graying of hair, and several people told me that they have less hair loss when they follow a ketogenic
Yeah.
diet.
I that's what I
Whereas,
think is the optimal.
yeah, and then
Yeah.
supra calorie, a caloric surplus with high protein, which is kind of what I did in my early 20s and stuff, where I started losing my hair, and I was like, I can't be losing my hair. I just started freaking out. I was, maybe 24, 25. I was like, yeah,
Right.
I am definitely losing my hair. So, but then I started, more of a moderate approach. But I was eating like 500 calories or 500 grams of carbs or grams of protein a day, and I forget what my carbs are, probably about 400 or 500 a day too.
Yeah. My journey to be, super physiological, superhuman Justin is I'm, the older I get, I'm starting to. I think I'll get it perfect with like 35 because I just turned 30. But I think ketogenic diet with the hair loss, and then somehow we can try to figure out how to put on muscle as well, whether that's hormone replacement or whatever, or maybe another mechanism of action. Trying to titrate all of those things together is kind of like my goal. So
Man, you're starting far ahead with like 250 plus pounds of muscle. Then you have like a lot of
that's the
metabolic.
benefit. That's the one benefit to me